What an exciting night it was as we watched England win the semi-final and head into the finals. And it got me thinking about how it relates to where we are in the Jewish calendar today. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that impact and upgrade our everyday lives. This episode is sponsored in the memory of Eliezer ben Shimshon. May the inspiration gained be a merit for his soul. Last night was an exciting and tense night as England played in the semi-finals. And I've got to give a full disclosure, I happen not to be a football fan, but even for me, I could see this excitement, and especially when England won and they're now on to the finals, and there's, whether it's the people in my house or it's people over social media, it's so clear to see that there's such an excitement and a desire and a hope that England will actually win this championship and bring it home. And it got me thinking, because right now, we're in the Jewish calendar, we're in a time period that's known as the 3 weeks. It's a time where it's reduced happiness. We don't have haircuts, we don't listen to music, we don't have weddings. Why? Because we're mourning for the loss of the temple. Now, for most of us, we find it extremely difficult to get into this mindset, because how can you feel sad about something that you didn't know what it was, that you didn't have? But last night, it occurred to me that if we can be so excited about England potentially winning the tournament, when the last time they won a tournament was in 1966, we're talking about 55 years ago. Most of the people that are watching it weren't around then, and yet we can desire it so strongly that then it shows us that we have that capacity to desire something, even if we didn't know what it was about. So what is it about the temple that we are mourning, and what we are yearning that it be rebuilt? When we had the temple, we lived in a different reality. What's interesting to note is that before we eat something, we make a blessing. When, as Jews, did we introduce blessings? That was only introduced into our laws after the temple was destroyed, which is very strange. What did they do before then? How did they thank God for the gift of food before then? So what's going on here is that in the times of the temple, they lived in a different reality. They saw things as they were. So for example, if they picked up an apple, we pick up an apple nowadays, we look at it as something to tide us over, a bite to eat to tide us our hunger over. In those days, they picked up an apple and they saw it for what it was. What was it? It was a gift from God, packaged. So they didn't have to make a blessing, because they instantly recognized that this is a gift from God. For us, we pick up an apple and before we bite into it, we make a blessing to remind ourselves, hold on a second, this isn't just a snack. This is a gift for God. Look how God packaged it for you. It's crunchy, it's delicious, it looks appetizing. And that's why we have to remind ourselves. Imagine living in a time where we saw things for what it was. Imagine looking at someone else, and instead of seeing them for their annoying habits, for the likelihood that they're going to come late for something, or the things that they do to upset us, or the expectations that they don't fulfill. Imagine looking at a person and seeing their soul. Imagine living in a world where we saw things for how they were. And this is what we are yearning for. We are yearning for a world again where we see things for what they are, where we pick up an apple and we see it as a gift for God, when we meet another person and we see their divine soul, when we look in the mirror and we see our unlimited potential, when we see that we have a mission and we can fulfill that. That is the world that we are yearning for during these days. And as we saw last night, and as we continue to see until the tournament's over, we have that desire to yearn for something, even though we didn't experience it. And we can take that desire to want something badly enough and transfer it to wanting a world where we see things for what it is, and the power that will give us. May it be rebuilt speedily in our days. Thank you for your time. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feedback. You can find me on Instagram at Gila Ross. And please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you and have a wonderful day.